Let's get back to your weekly music and entertainment fix.
Backstage with Sinéad and Mhórdha.
With all the best music, interviews, and live sessions.
On Radio Nova. Backstage. Music News Update.
And now to bring you up to date on all the latest music news is Conor Irwin of Radio Nova. Conor, thanks so much for joining me today. Some great news this week involving the legendary Jeff Barrow of the brilliant band Portishead. We just heard Queens of the Stone Age, If I Had a Tale, from the Like Clockwork album. I have been waiting and waiting with a bated breath for details of the new album. And I believe you have some exciting news regarding this.
Hey Sinead, yeah, a ton of bits of music news doing the rounds this week. But we'll start things off with some great news for Queens of the Stone Age fans. They are set to head into studio and record their follow-up to Like Clockwork before the end of the year. Josh Homme's outfit say they want to avoid the pitfalls that tripped them up during their last studio project. You might remember that it was a bit kind of on and off, and that they were trying to get Trent Reznor in as producer. They lost their drummer Joey Castillo. Josh Homme himself had a few health struggles, but they're getting back into the studio and apparently it's locked in, so they're going to record something by the end of the year. Great news for Queens of the Stone Age fans.
Bring it on. I was so thrilled to learn that news during the week. Okay, next up to Portishead. Such an incredible band. Their 1994 debut album Dummy is up there with one of my treasured favourites. So Jeff Barrow for me is up there with being a phenomenal musician. Of course, he's a producer and a composer. And I believe there's a chance for people to get up close and personal for some real advice from the man himself.
Yeah, here's one for any budding musicians or bands or solo artists out there. It's a fantastic competition. Portishead's Jeff Barrow has announced that he's auctioning off recording time in his Bristol studio. It's all for a very good cause. It's for Breast Cancer Care UK, and the winner gets a whole day in Barrow's studio, and Barrow himself will oversee proceedings. He said on Twitter, "I will write with you or your band in my studio for one day for the biggest charity donation." You've got until the 24th of July to get in there. The deadline is the 24th of July. You could be recording with Portishead's Jeff Barrow. How cool would that be? Head over to Twitter and just follow Jeff Barrow and get all the details there.
Wow, what an incredible opportunity for such an amazing cause. Well, Conor Irwin of Radio Nova, thanks so much for joining me backstage this week. I'll chat to you next week.
Cheers, chat to you next week.
Yet to come on this evening's show, I'll be chatting to Elliott Williams of Editors, who are headlining Indiependence in Cork on Sunday the 31st of this month. Conor McCaffrey of The Star will be stopping by to recommend some great gigs coming up over the next week. But now I've got a very special treat for you in the form of a tune from the American multi-instrumentalist Kurt Weill. If you're new to this man, sound-wise, he's influenced by Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, Tom Petty and Pavement. He released his 6th album, Believe I'm Going Down, in September of last year. And what an album it is. It was hugely received. Enemy magazine ranked it number 11 in their list of the albums of the year 2015. Pitchfork ranked it at the 23rd best album of the year, while the Readers ranked the album at number 17. And Kurt Weill is in Ireland. He is playing Longitude tomorrow, and I strongly urge you to check him out if you're headed there. From that beautiful album from Kurt Weill, this is Life Like This on Radio Nova.
Well, I've been doing it, baby, all the time. To do so, you gotta roll with the punches. Jump from the sweetest to toughest of it. Up and down and out and side. Have you got what it takes? Well, I think you might.
You're backstage with me, Sinéad Mhórdha, on Radio Nova. It is time for my next guest. Editors formed in Stafford, UK in 2002. Their brilliant debut album, The Back Room, was released in 2005. It contains hits Munich and Blood. The following year, it received a Mercury Prize nomination. Their follow-up, An End Has a Start, went to number 1 in the UK chart in 2007. It earned the band a Brit Awards nomination for Best British Band. The success story has continued. The band have enjoyed top 10 albums here in Ireland. They've been critically acclaimed and have consistently enjoyed sold-out tours and numerous headlining festival slots. Editors released their 5th studio album, In Dream, last year, a record that singer Tom Smith remarked upon as an exercise in making music that was both pop and experimental. It was much welcomed amongst the music reviewers, with Mojo, for example, awarding the album a 4-star review. And Editors shall be visiting our shores to headline Indiependence in Cork on Sunday, the 31st of this month. And joining me ahead of their festival appearance is synths and keys man for the band, Elliott Williams. Hey, Elliott. I was just looking at your touring schedule, which is pretty hectic. You've been performing with the Manics throughout May. A whole slew of headline dates and festival dates in June and this month too. How do you find the whole touring experience, and how do you create your home away from home?
Yeah, it's weird. I guess, kind of your crew becomes your family and sort of backstage rooms become your home. It's slightly odd, but yeah, you get used to it really. And airports as well, flying all the time. I'm so sick of seeing Munich airport. Every single flight that we seem to take goes to Munich first, so that place kind of feels like my living room at the moment.
Oh,
I know
my
all the
word.
shops. I know all the food. So yeah, it gets a little intense like that, but you just learn to deal with it.
Yeah, a bit monotonous, I guess, like another airport. They're all the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was reading an interview before whereby you would cite your involvement with music as the closest thing to a religion. So obviously music is so important to you. So how would you describe the significance of music in your life then, Elliott?
Yeah, it's huge. I don't know. It's all I kind of do. Like, I guess I'm home at the moment, and right now I'm kind of like archiving my records that I've been buying on tour.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what I like to do when I'm in a different city, is find, head for the nearest record shop, and that kind of leads you on to good bars and things like that. So yeah, when I'm away, I'm always kind of searching for new music, and I like to find out what kind of the local guy in the shop, what he recommends from, depends where you are. If it's from Athens, then he might have some great sort of Greek electronic music and stuff like that. So it's a massive part of my life every single day. And it is, I guess, the closest thing that I have to a religion, yeah.
Wow.
Which is, it's a strange thing, isn't it? But I find something very spiritual about music, as well as, just the physical thing of it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, discovering all that amazing world music, would that lend itself then to your own compositions then when you're working with editors?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. We all have such varied tastes that when we get in a room together, it can be sometimes a little daunting, but we all know what fits with the band and what everyone likes and stuff. So I think we all try and pull in different influences from what we found and what we like, and bring them to the band, which is why every sort of editor's record changes a lot. There's such a sonic difference between all of them. Because
In Dream is a total musical shift, moving on from that whole widescreen rock of, The Weight of Your Love. I know you went off to Scotland, which obviously must have had an impact on itself. So was that a conscious decision to kind of move away from that and create this kind of mutation of electronic and pop and rock, or how did that kind of come about, that sound?
it's one of those things, we don't ever think about things too hard. When we went to make In Dream, we originally went to Scotland with the idea of starting to write the record. And when we got there, we kind of had this set up and we started working on things and sort of recording as we went. And we were like, oh, this sounds pretty good, and kind of what, we were all feeling with like the vibe of, oh yeah, this is kind of what we want to do. So it just kind of then made sense to record it ourselves and produce it ourselves, rather than going and say, oh, let's go and find like a producer to do it with, when, we were so happy with what we were doing. It was like, we've all done this for a long time. We've all been in studios. We know how to record. Let's, have a go at making it ourselves. And it just made sense at the time. We never think about things too hard, or the sound of stuff. It was when, for this record, for example, when we made No Harm, that was when everything sort of seemed to fall into place. And it's like, this feels like a good direction for an album.
Nice. Yeah, it must have been giving you so much creative freedom to be able to man the decks, be your own producer, and steer it to the kind of way that you want to be, as opposed to having someone lead you in a different kind of way. So that must have been quite fulfilling, all right?
Yeah, it was amazing. It's total freedom. And, there was only 5 of us there in the most derelict part of Scotland. The nearest kind of shop or pub was about 45 minutes drive away. So
drive away, not even a walk.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it just felt like it was just us, and we could do totally anything we wanted. It's like, if it doesn't sound any good, then no one is going to hear it at all. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience to do that.
It must have been, but out in the wilds like that. Did cabin fever ever seep in at any point?
Yeah, a fair bit. I started drawing, like I used to go for walks and pick up these rocks, and I started like trying to paint rocks. I think that's the bit when you're like, oh, hang on, we maybe need to like go home for a bit and see some civilization. Because I'm asking people whether they think my rock painting is any good.
Will there be a Salvation rock exhibition from Editors? Will that be unveiling itself soon?
No, never.
Oh, hilarious. Well, Elliott, I think it's time we play some music from Editors now. You are backstage with Elliott Williams, synths and keys man for Editors, who are headlining Indiependence in Cork at the end of the month. And this is such an amazing single, an early one from Editors. This is Bullets on Radio Nova.
To change, then it always does. If something has to change, then it always does. You don't need this disease, not right now. No, you don't need this disease, not right now.
You don't need
Yeah, it's incredible. Still playing that song now, even though we've kind of taken it off the set list this summer because we played it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, those songs still get such a huge reaction. It's incredible. I joined a little bit later, but, speaking to the guys about it and stuff, I think, not at the time necessarily, but, things happen and it's kind of like that stars align thing. And it just, music at that time and places, bands like Arctic Monkeys and Fans and Editors came out as well. It's just a moment in time, isn't it? And I think it still encapsulates, a lot of people's imagination from that time. And when they hear those songs again, they love it.
Yeah. It's something so special. Wow. Here you've had so many top 10 albums as well. And of course you're playing Indiependence. Elliott Williams of Editors, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Not at all. Delighted to have you on the show. And yeah, looking forward to Indiependence. I've not been. It's been going for about 10 years at least, I think. Yeah. And it's a cool little lineup with Ash playing as well. They're great guys.
Yeah, we're very excited to see Ash. I know Ed, who's the drummer in the band, is a huge fan.
Is he?
So I think he'll be reliving some of his youth there.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be right up the front joining him properly.
Yeah.
Thanks a million.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Speak to you. Bye.
Backstage.
Entertainment update.
So if you're looking for some gigs to check out over the coming week, here are some to put in your diary. Thanks to Mr. Conor McCaffrey of The Star. How are you?
Not too bad. Taking a little bit of a mini time out from Longitude.
Oh yes, anytime for Longitude.
But I'll be back in the evening.
I bet you will. Now there's some amazing gigs from this summer around Dublin in particular, and Ivy Gardens has become a golden spotlight for amazing performances. So tell us about this next one. New
Wave legend Elvis Costello is playing the Ivy Gardens tonight. Earlier on in the year, he's been playing kind of solo gigs, mixing spoken word, stories about his 40-year career in music.
Wow.
It kind of coincides with his memoir, Unfaithful Music and Disappearing Ink. I haven't read it, but it's on the shelf. I'm about to read it now.
If there's anyone who's going to write a great book, it's this man.
Yeah. But tonight he's with the Imposters, so it's going to be a little bit more raucous. I've just been checking the set list for a Liverpool gig this week. He played for about 2.5 hours, almost in Bruce Springsteen territory here.
Wowza.
He's going to be delving into all eras of his career, so if there ever was a time in the last maybe 10 years to go and see him, I guess it's tonight.
Here's a great one for Thursday night.
Yeah, yet more proof, as if we didn't need it, that it's going to be quite a long time before we get over Prince. Another tribute night, and this time it's in the Academy next Thursday. If you're a Prince fan, this one is an essential one. You've probably been to loads of tribute gigs, discos, but this one has...
We've been to one or two.
Had a few dances to that one, alright. This one features loads of Irish musicians playing the classics, and also it's a fundraiser for the Irish Cancer Society, just to make it that little bit more essential. There's going to be a 12-piece house band called the True Funk Soldiers, and that will include performances by Paul Noonan and Dave Garrity of Bell X1, Steve Wall of The Stunning, Bronnie Gallagher, Wyvern Lingo. Am I saying that right?
Wyvern Lingo?
Wyvern Lingo. Gavin Glass, Rosie No. And if that's not enough, organisers have promised some very special guests. They put that in bold as well. So there'll be a few more to add to that list. So
who do you suspect it'll be?
Oh, I don't know.
If I was putting money on it, I'd say Glenn Hansard.
Glenn Hansard does turn up to things, doesn't he?
He does turn up to things, and he's in the middle of a break. And he's buddies with Bronnie Gallagher and the lads from Bell X1, I think, as well. Yes, so, listen, don't hold me to that, but I suspect that maybe...
You're going to stick a few quid on, Paddy Power.
So, nice one. Connor, you're off back to Longitude then.
Let's get that bus back.
Enjoy that.
Right.
Come back to us in one piece.
All right, see you next week.
Next Saturday on Backstage.
I'll have more great music plus chats with the artists you love. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. I hope you'll join me on Nova on Monday evening. I'll be back from 7 p.m, kicking off Monday evening's musical adventure with 2 hours of 80s, 90s. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and be sure to fill me in on any great gigs that you're checking out. Peter Devlin is on the way next with the Saturday soundtrack. He's got music for you from the aforementioned Elvis Costello, plus music from Elbow and Band of Horses. Peter will be with you right after the Nova News update at 7.